Hello, everyone, and welcome to my series on delinquent manga, one of the most interesting and underrated genres, in my opinion. I got into delinquent manga only after falling in love with Tokyo Revengers and then researching more series, and I am very thankful for that. Now, let's get into the series we are talking about today, which is one of the more popular delinquent manga out there, Crows. Whenever I looked up what delinquent manga is out there or what I should be reading, everybody was saying Crows, so it was one of the first that I checked out. Crows is a shonen delinquent manga which was released from 1990 to 1998 and consists of 26 volumes. The mangaka is Hiroshi Takahashi. Crows was one of his very first works and the one with the most success. Some or most of his other manga are sequels or spin offs to Crows, like Crow's Gaiden, Crow's Zero, and Worst. The manga also had an anime consisting of 2 OVA episodes and multiple live actions made. I personally have not watched the live actions, but I did watch the OVA episodes, and they're nothing too spectacular or anything, but if you're a fan of the manga, it's pretty cool to see the boys just fighting it out and into their shenanigans animated. Sadly, there is no English manga release. Boo. Hopefully, with the spark and popularity of Tokyo Revengers, more delinquent series will be published because I would love that. There's a lot that are just not known at all. So I will give a little synopsis about what Crows is, and there will be no spoilers, so do not worry about that. We have our main character, Boya Harumichi, who transfers to Suzerain High School, which is notorious for delinquents and fighting. Although Boya is the main character, we follow many characters at Suzerain and even other schools in the district. Crows is about the lives of these high schoolers dealing with normal high school boy things while also being delinquents and lots of fights and gang politics, of course. First, we're going to take a look into the characters. We'll start with the main character, as I mentioned, Boya Harumichi. He looks wimpy and immature at first glance, more immature than wimpy, but nobody really thinks he can fight. But we'll soon find out he will take on literally anyone, and he usually wins. He has the typical main character power, but he also has lots of comedy, and although he is super tough, he just never really acts like it, which surprises many characters in the manga. He is very likable. I tend to be a little biased and not liking the main character, but I really love Boya Harumichi. He also, throughout the manga, has a way of bringing even worst enemies or people that would never be friends together, which is a very unique and cool trait. After him, we have Yaso. Compared to Boya, Yaso actually is small and wimpy and has been bullied most of his life until he became friends with Harumichi, that is. Being best friends with Boya has its perks, like never being bullied again and also earning a top spot in the Suzerain gang. The cons, almost always getting his ass kicked because of something Harumichi did. He's weirdly like Harumichi's babysitter and one of the more mature characters in the manga. Then we have Rindaman, the biggest and baddest guy at Suzerain, but he has no interest in fighting. He also has one of the more in-depth backgrounds of the manga, and basically everyone just leaves him alone because he is very big and they know that he can kick ass. So everyone just kind of leaves him. They're all kind of scared of him, except for Boya, of course, who continuously challenges him. They have major frenemy vibes going on. Then we have Bulldog, who is the leader of a gang called the Kurotaki Alliance. He's very soft and gentle despite his name. Like Boya and many boys just in the real world and this manga in general, they have a crazy obsession with the opposite sex. Then we have Ryushin, the leader of the gang called the Front of Arraignment. He specializes in boxing and looking cool. I mean, just look at his hair, his tats, the sunglasses. Just look at this figure of him. I mean, just peak right there, peak coolness. There are many, many more characters in the manga, and I feel like the characters are just what bring out this manga really. It focuses on following them and their journeys, and they're all unique in their own ways. So the characters are really what make this manga special. My favorites personally are Hiromi, Bando, and Bulldog. And if you've read the series or after you've read it, come back and tell me who your favorite characters are. Now we'll move on to the art. The art is nothing exactly special, but it's not bad by any means. And it also progresses a lot throughout the series. Sometimes fighting scenes were a little hard to understand for me, like to see exactly what's going on, but it still looked good. And I like how the faces will be different in typical manga style when there's comedy, but then they'll also look like really cool, like the Saitama, how he looks like amazing in one, and then like nothing in the other panel. That's what they do with Boya a lot. So I really like that. And like I said before, the different character styles with all the different hair and their outfits are just really unique and make it very immersive. So now let's get on to the big question, which is why is this manga so beloved in the delinquent community, or maybe the manga community in general? Action aside, there is much more to the manga than delinquents and fighting, which really took me off guard by how kind of deep and real it gets. The comedy is also a good aspect, which, when there's no fighting or action happening, it's still a very enjoyable read because you like the characters so much and would be fine just seeing them chilling at school sometimes. One of the cool things about the series is the respect for other delinquents, even in separate gangs. Usually a theme in most delinquent manga, like the certain rules everyone or most people follow, even with their worst enemies, such as stopping a fight when the opponent can no longer move or not using weapons unless necessary. They always say, I will kill you, but that is never the actual intention. It's heartwarming to see these big, tough guys care when an enemy gets hurt badly or even will go and defend them sometimes, leading us to the actual meaning of crows. The meaning of crows being outcasts and people pushed away or given up on by society. Because of this, the crows or delinquents who usually have bad family lives or trauma in their past get a sense of family and belonging in gangs. Crows having a usual negative connotation by society, and they kind of make it their own thing. It is special to these crows. And that's why when someone pushes the line a little bit, they will defend each other, and that made the story really meaningful. There were a lot of great quotes in the manga, but one of my favorites being by Harumichi, and he said, "What's wrong with crows? Compared to a poor bird that's been caged in and has forgotten how to fly, this is much better." He's saying, yes, they may be different, but that does not make them any less than another human being. And delinquents, like him, are free to be themselves. They really do not care what other people think, and they live in their own bubble. The manga shows many of these quote unquote bad delinquents forming strong bonds with one another, and when they come together to fight a common enemy or support an injured delinquent, it makes the story that much deeper. They even cry for one another sometimes. It's also just extremely hype when multiple strong enemies come together to fight a common enemy. Another big theme throughout the manga is the seniors who are about to graduate and see what they want to do with their lives. They will go from delinquent life to either the dangerous yakuza or the real world and get normal jobs and stop fighting. As I have shown here, the beauty of Crows comes not only from the gangs and fightings, but watching these characters grow and develop as they come of age. Crows will be a series that will always stay in my mind. Stay tuned for more Delinquent Manga episodes and other manga videos in general. Thanks for watching. Also, a side note here, what's up with crows being in like every single anime?